Welcome back, everyone, to another episode on the Project Nodenium server. Today, we are starting out in front of the towers that we built at the entrance to our harbor because today is going to be about finishing up the interior of the harbor. After all, this is supposed to be our main base for the season, and we've barely even started building it. Originally, when we built these towers, there was a mechanism in this area right here, which had a chain that wrapped around a wheel and went all the way down into the water here. And as you can tell, that is no longer here. I decided to get rid of it because I didn't like how it was looking, and I also wanted to move the tower from where it was originally, because this tower was not built right here in the center of the platform. It was over a couple of blocks and closer to the wall, and not having it centered was driving me crazy. But the only way to move a tower over a couple of blocks is to deconstruct it and rebuild it, which is what I did, and that took a couple of hours to do, but I think in the end it's going to be much better to have them over in the center of the platforms as opposed to where they were originally. But now that the towers are where they should be, we can start building the rest of the harbor, and there are a couple of things that we need to do before we can actually get started with the building part. The builds that we are going to be putting in this area require a lot of quartz, and right now I've been using the community trading area to get the quartz, but I think it would be better if we were to have villagers over in our base here to be able to trade with them and not have to travel all the way back to the starting area. The other block that we use here a lot is terracotta, because we've got the green terracotta down here, and we have terracotta which we use over where our farming area is, and right now, I have 0 terracotta. So we are going to first head off to some badlands where I can mine as much terracotta as I can get, and then we are going to build an area where I can trade with villagers to get quartz. Our trip out to the Badlands to get terracotta was extremely successful, as I was able to collect nearly a double chest worth of terracotta, so we should be able to have enough terracotta to last us for a very long time. I also went through and organized my storage room because I was having such a hard time trying to find things, so it is now all labeled and looking much better. But now it's time to start building the room where we are going to do the quartz trading with stonemasons, and for that, we are going to be building it in the last spot that we have available in this area. And now the room is all dug out, and I made the room the same size as over here where we have the sugar cane, because I was taking a look at this room and I realized that we would actually be able to have enough space in here to have 34 villagers to be able to trade with. And with 34 villagers, we would end up having 12 stacks of quartz blocks every Minecraft day, which I think is a pretty good rate. But that means that we are going to need 34 villagers, and right now we only have 0, which means in addition to building up the room for the trading, we are also going to need a villager breeder, and I need to find a place to be able to put that. So I decided to put the villager breeder down here, and what we're going to do is have rails that will come all the way down here, and once we reach the bottom, we're going to have the villagers which are going to come out down here, and we'll be able to collect them and send them up. And then up here is where we are going to have the actual villager breeder be. So this dirt is going to be farmland. We're going to put beds over here, and then the baby villagers will drop down into here. And I should mention that this farm is based on a design that was done by Romer GFX, which I've done before in my single player world, and I'll include a link in the description down below where you can be able to find his video. But before we finish building this, I think what we should go do is get some villagers. That way we can have the hard part all finished up, and then it'll just be the easy part of doing the building. The good news is I know exactly where to find a village. Bad news is it's quite a ways away from where our base is, and we're going to have to travel a long ways with these villagers to get them over there. I now have 2 villagers and a chicken, and we are going to take these 2 villagers back to our base. Not the chicken. So we now have our villagers back here, and the thing I need to do now is get them up and out of the water. So I have a piston here, and I want to see, I don't think this, no, that's not going to work. What else could we try? Maybe a redstone block? Will that raise it up? Yep, that'll do it. All right, let's get these boats over here, and we are going to lift them up so we can take them further in. So if you're ever wondering how you can get a boat with a villager out of the water, the best way to do it is a piston with a stair, and then what we can do is just take the boat right over here, you get out, power it with the redstone block, break the stone stair, and we are now on the level and out of the water. And now we just need to take the villagers along this path until we can get over to where the stairs are. I did have to break a little hole in the wall, but I think this is going to be the easiest way to get the villagers over there, so we are just going to take them along the top of this room all the way over to there. We now have the villagers down here where they need to be. The next thing that we need to do is get this area tilled and then a bunch of carrots planted. But I only have 2 carrots. Fortunately, I have a bunch of bone meal and a hoe with a fortune enchantment, so it'll be pretty easy to get a lot more carrots. We now have this all finished up. We've got our 2 villagers over here. We've got the beds over here, which the baby villagers will try to go to. And when they try to cross over here, they will drop down in the water. And the water will take them all the way down here to this area, which we can then use this dispenser right here to send the minecart over. It'll pick them up and take them up to where we're going to do the trading. While we wait for the villagers, we are going to go up and get the trading room all built up. And since this is a design that we've done many times in this area with the brown terracotta and the stripped dark oak, I didn't show it and went ahead and built it. And you can see here the finished room, or the mostly finished room. We still need to add in the villagers and these stone cutters so that we can have the stonemasons to be able to trade with. In order to have a full 34 villagers in this small of a room, I went ahead and did a double-decker system. And if you're wondering, how will I be able to get up there? I thought about having a platform right here that I'd stand on to trade with them, but then I had an idea that I think will work out really well. With this lever here, if we turn it on, you can see we've got these pistons which bump up the floor, and we could then reach the villagers in these rooms pretty easily. And this way we don't have to have a platform that goes all the way around the room, because I think if that was there, it would make the room feel even smaller than it is. Plus it just gets really messy and you'd have to have a way to get up and a way to get down. I think this is going to be much better. But let's go check how the villagers are doing, because we should have quite a few by now, and it looks like this is coming along very nicely. We are going to have plenty to start getting the trading going. But I think I need to get a few things together so that way I have resources that I can trade with the villagers, get everything unlocked. So I've gathered up a bunch of shulker boxes with stone in them and a bunch of emeralds. And what we are going to do is use the stone and emeralds to trade up with the villagers until we can get them to have the quartz trade. And the reason I'm down here instead of up in the trading room is because I need to get them locked in as stonemasons before they go up. Otherwise, they are going to turn into some different types of villagers, because the floor up here has smithing tables and blast furnaces, which are used to create different types of trades with villagers. So if the villagers were to come up before they were stonemasons, they might get attached to these workbenches and not be stonemasons when I put the stone cutters down. And we have stonemason number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 29, 30, 31, 32, number 33, and stonemason number 34. We now have 34 villagers that we are able to trade with, and as you can see, they have all been upgraded to be able to do the quartz trade. So this is going to be our source of quartz for the entire season. Hopefully this will be enough villagers. And now it's time to start gathering up the resources that we are going to be using for the build today. Starting, obviously, with the quartz. And all of the shulker boxes that we have right here have the resources that I've collected up, and there are quite a few different types of ones, as you can see here. But now that we have everything collected up, it's time to get started with the building. So let's get going. the harbor is now finished. Or at least it's sort of finished. We still have these walls, which are ruining the effect that we have going on with the rest of the build, so I will need to do something about those soon. And I have some ideas about what we can do with this mountain to be able to incorporate it and add some nice builds along here, which will hopefully not require a lot of extra digging, as I seem to have been doing a lot of digging within the last 2 episodes, and it would be nice to have a little bit of a break. But enough about digging, let's take a look at what we've been building, and you can see here why I needed all of those villagers to be able to trade with Quartz, because Quartz is going to make up a big portion of the builds that we are going to do for this city, along with the blocks like green terracotta and green wool and green concrete, which are all mixed in to create the highlight colors that we are going to use as well. I've also started adding in some vines along here because I want this city to have a lot of trees and bushes and flowers, which means I need to come up with a lot more tree designs that I'll be able to use. But I think that is where we are going to have to leave it for today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And until next time, see ya later.